Hello, Earth signs. Save the best for last, right? So this is your June 2020 reading. All of your, each zodiac sign will be in the description below. I am going to start out with Taurus. So if this is not your sign, please go to my description and click your timestamp. I will be doing A/B scenarios of each possible outcome. So there'll be group A and group B. And I appreciate everyone's patience. As you know, the climate of this world has been quite heavy, and I had to gather myself during all of this. So sorry for being late on some of these videos, but I appreciate your patience. All right, Taurus. When tapping into your energy, I heard don't rock the boat, time, and eclipse, big changes. So we have an eclipse coming up. I'm not positive on the date of that. You might look it up, the date. I think it's coming very soon. I think Monday. It might be Monday is our eclipse. So Spirit wanted me to tell you that to pay attention to the eclipse time. There's something big coming for you during that period of time. Something big for all of us. Eclipse seasons are always huge for transformation, but for you specifically, Spirit wanted me to tell you that. All right, what do we want to know, our Taurus people to know? Our Taurus people for June 2020, Spirit. What do you have for us, Spirit? Here we go. Ace of Swords for group A, for group B. What do we have for group B, Spirit? Ooh. King of Swords. Ace of Swords for group A and King of Swords for group B. Let's see what unfolds with those two. So this is very strong, quick moving energy, which doesn't surprise me. Most Taurus have very strong energy. Also could be dealing with a Libra or another air sign. Both A and B. For some of you, you're very focused on your work right now or working towards some goal. For group B, you're coming out of feeling extremely tied up or constricted energy. You're moving out of that, so that's wonderful news. And group A, I feel like you're very focused on a project or something. This does not feel love related to me. For group A, you have lots of options here coming forward that could be potential opportunities or things that you may be unaware of involving this work situation or passion. Yeah, you're trying to not allow yourself to get too emotional about it. But there is a new beginning coming where something must fall away for something new to come in. Yeah, it looks like you're working really hard on this project, and you might have to take a step back from it to kind of, I feel like you might be avoiding some people even for this work alone. It's like you're having to really just focus on the task at hand, and your relationships might be kind of suffering from it. And that's okay. But I also want you to remember that relationships are also, extremely important in this world, and to not work too hard is really the message here. Don't work so hard that you're kind of leaving some people behind that might really be needing your assistance or your love or your compassion. So please, just if that resonates with you in group A, please understand that that's the message here, is to not work too hard to forget about people who really need you in their lives and really depend on your emotional connection with them. Group B, it looks as though you might be coming into a new situation or new love scenario, but both of you are turned away from one another for some reason. Why are you not connecting or seeing eye to eye here? I get the sense this could even be a child situation, like a child-parent situation. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but there's some scenario where there's two individuals that are not seeing eye to eye. You're not really seeing or understanding each other very clearly. And you're learning that it's okay to not control the situation, that it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to end up in heartbreak, because I feel like in this scenario, it feels very much like the Taurus energy when I say this, that in the past maybe you felt like you have to control a situation or an outcome so that you don't get hurt. It's kind of like your coping mechanism, if that makes sense. And you're moving forward. You're moving forward with this situation and this person because you're letting go of control. You're not trying to control the outcome of the situation, which is great. And you're done fighting about it. You're not going to fight. You're not going to fight anymore about it. You're not going to call judgment on this situation. You're not going to try to tell the other individual, you plead your case. You're going to just kind of, it feels very much not like your normal energy, but you're going to kind of allow life to happen in the way it's meant to. I feel like you're coming out of a toxic cycle that you're used to being in, Group B, which is great. It's great. And in the long run, I think you're going to be much happier because of it. That's wonderful. These are both really good energies. It's just like a matter of tweaking a little bit in order for both of you to have the best outcome in the situation. Remember, Group A, if you're working, there might be it could even be kids too, or a partnership that just needs some of your attention. And the universe is saying, please don't ignore either situation or scenario. If there is, I understand that a lot of us were out of work for some time and we're trying to build up that paper, but always try to find a balance within work and play. Because there might be something you're ignoring, and a lot of you might work to ignore some situations. And so that's very important to know about yourself. All right, let's get some advice for both Group A and B, please, Spirit. They want me to keep using these cards. Okay. I'll keep using these. Usually I switch cards, but I'll keep using them. What is some advice for Group A and B Taurus people? Spirit, what advice do we have for Taurus? Group A and B, please. So Spirit's asking you to, in both scenarios, please get in touch with your emotions. Now, it's not asking you to operate from a place of emotion, but it's asking you to please make sure you're not ignoring your emotions. And to change your perspective is very important in this situation, both A and B. To make sure you're looking from a new perspective and not one that you've always operated from. So keep looking from a different perspective. So we're being asked to look from a different perspective, and both groups are being asked to please drop the illusion of how you think people should view you. So if you're worried about an outside opinion or someone, outside of your circle having an opinion, and you're worried about them giving you that opinion, Spirit is saying it is not your problem to worry about that. It is not your problem to take on others' opinions of you. You know who you are, and to really just do what is most fulfilling for your soul, regardless of what someone else's opinion of you might be. So that is my advice to you, Taurus, and I hope that was helpful. Let me know in the comments below if this resonated. If it did not, that's okay too. If there were bits and pieces of Group A and B that resonate with you, that's wonderful. I hear that often, and that's fine. If you have any questions, please ask, and I appreciate you, and I love you very much, so thank you. All right, clearing that energy out. We're clearing out the energy of Taurus. And now we're going to go to Virgo. Virgo calling in the Virgo energy. We're calling in the Virgo energy. I know, I'm nerd. All right, Virgo, this is your June 2020 reading. Thank you for your patience. If this is not your video, please look at the description box below and click your timestamp. Before I turned on my video and started recording, I got these phrases for Virgo. Self-awareness, safe, and one door closes, another one opens. Very interesting. So, self-awareness, safe, and when one door closes, another one opens. No, okay. I just heard from Spirit. No, it was the other way around. Okay, so when one door closes, another one opens. When one door opens, another door closes. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, they said it's the other way around. Never heard it that way, but it kind of makes sense, I guess. When one door opens, sometimes you lose people or situations. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Well, if that resonates with you, great. If not, I sound crazy, and that's fine. All right, Virgo. We got Group A and Group B scenarios. A lot of love comes forward often, I'll just be honest with you. But I just say these are general readings, and whatever's supposed to come out of it will for whoever it's supposed to be for. So here we go. So, Spirit, what do we have for Virgo, June 2020? What do we have for Virgo, June 2020? Some of you are in a place of contemplation. You feel like you're at a point in your life where you're going to have to make a decision. But my advice to you is do not make a decision blindly. Make sure you have all the information before moving forward. That's Group A. Make sure you have all the information before moving forward with this information and making your decision. Spirit, what does Group B need to know? Virgo, June 2020. Nine of Cups in reverse energy. Some of you are not feeling too secure in yourself. What is going on? What is going on? All right, so Group A, you will be given a new offer that's going to make it easier for you to decide what decision you need to make. And you need to turn away from any situation that wants to involve you in conflict. This is all about self-love. Once you have that self-love, you can manifest that connection with someone else. But this feels very much like an internal journey that you're going through. You're putting down the fighting. You're really seeing things from a different perspective. And in turn, you're going to be gaining so much insight, so much self-love. It feels very etheric for me. Like I know it's very hard for a Virgo to kind of think in this place of woo-woo magical realm, but I feel like some of you are starting to really tap into that part of life, and I think it's important for you to do that. Just make sure you're not tapping out so that you can deal with the harsh reality that we're all living in. But I do think this is a good outcome so far, Group A. You're going to make a positive decision for yourself, one that involves putting down the swords and not fighting. So a much more vulnerable place than you normally operate from. I feel like this is a much more heart-centered place for you. Not so much up here. You're starting to feel more here. And that's great. Group B. This feels a little more dramatic. Kind of in a You're not walking away from a situation. You're not feeling so it's almost like a stuck place. It's almost like a stuck place, and you have to find your power again, and you're going to find your power again. And you're going to take a chance. You're going to take a chance. The Fool card came out. You're going to take a leap of faith. You're going to possibly do something you've not done before. And that's wonderful. I think that's going to be a great choice for you. It's going to get you out of this desert-like period where you're feeling stuck. It's going to get you out of this place of feeling stuck. You might have even taken on a new craft or something you didn't know you were into or liked before. But you're still kind of avoiding that emotional aspect of life. You're kind of, and with the turbulence of where our world is right now, choosing to avoid your emotions really isn't an option. And I think some of you are fighting that, like you're not wanting to feel quite yet. Life isn't really gonna let you do that. And it's gonna force you into a place of indecision where you're feeling like okay, I'm at a crossroads here. I'm at a crossroads here. What choice do I need to make? And it's gonna force you into a place of emotion. Ooh, it's a little heavier here. It's going to force you into this awakening that Group A is already experiencing. It's going to force you into the awakening that Group A is. Yes, I knew it. The World card. I knew you were being forced into an awakening, but it's going to hurt. So Group A, it's like you're allowing this awakening to occur. You're not really fighting the resistance any longer. You're not resisting it any longer, and therefore it's becoming a much easier process for you to feel and not be so much analytical in your head. Nothing wrong with being analytical, but it doesn't always help in times like what we're in currently when so many people are being asked to feel emotions. Group B, I feel like this group of people is a lot more in resistance as far as emotions go, and life's going to kind of push you to feel, and it might put you in a situation that might be a little more difficult and force you to feel. Not that you can't handle it, because I feel you can, and you're going to handle it just fine. It's just a matter of you realizing you can choose to go ahead and feel and not be forced into it. Let's see our advice for both scenarios, both people, both scenarios, both energy. There we go. What advice do we have, Spirit? What advice do we have for my Virgo, June 2020? I hear don't get scared, because it's not common for you guys to feel your heart space, and it makes you want to run and be kind of numb. Yeah, there's that back and forth energy. Make sure you don't get there. Make sure you don't get there. I think it's very common for Virgo to get in that back and forth energy, like I'm hot and cold. You don't really know if you can read me. It's saying, Spirit is saying, don't allow yourself to get there. Notice yourself when you're getting there. And maybe instead of being that way, just say, hey, I need some space. I need time to think. Okay. Again, advice for some of you, please make sure you're taking care of yourself physically. I feel like there is a potential for some of you to feel ill or get sick. Not sick in that way, and I'm not going to say the word, no, not sick in that way, but just, kind of run down or feeling tired. So make sure you're taking care of yourself physically and not avoiding, life. And just keep in that strong energy that I know naturally resides within Virgos. That strong, gonna move through no matter what energy is going to really help you in this time. You're being courageous and please understand that being emotional does not mean you're weak. Very important, Virgo. Just because you're emotional does not mean you're weak. It in fact means you're strong. Because it is very vulnerable and very brave to actually feel the depth of your heart. that is my advice to you, Virgo. I hope you have a wonderful June. Please leave me a comment below and let me know how this resonated with you, and thank you very much. Clearing your energy out. Last but not least, we have Capricorn. Spirit, can you bring in Capricorn energy, please, for June 2020? Whew. Feels heavier for sure. Capricorn, when I tap into your energy, the first words or phrases I received were, old processes ending, big closing out of the old. So, okay, so that was huge. Lots of old energy being released from your field. So some of you might be being forced to see in a new light or a new way of thinking that maybe you were unaware was possible. You're most definitely shedding some old skin, building new opportunities, new pathways to a new life. Yeah. Of course, you got the Hangman, which is all about changing perspectives, looking things from another view. When you go upside down, the whole world looks different, doesn't it? It's what it's telling you that you're being forced to do. You're being forced to look at the world in another way, obviously. These world changes might be hitting a Capricorn a lot harder than other signs. Because Capricorn is all about structure and work, and any Capricorn I've known has worked really hard. And this is forcing you to change a perspective, kind of enjoy life a little more. So group A, it's all about changing perspective. Group B, I have self-love coming in here. Group A, you're coming out of a place of heartbreak, and Group B, it seems like Group A and B are both coming out of a place of feeling of abandonment and heartbreak. You're realizing, very interesting, both A and B are kind of the same reading here so far. You both are realizing self-love is the key to this. Self-love is the key to your happiness, and you're both having a moment of starting over. You've had to leave behind old, I feel, to me, both of these, A and B, feels like a complete breakdown of a life situation in order for self-love to come in here and a whole new world to come in. You've had to both, more so Group B, you've had to come out of a place of abandonment or the idea of being abandoned. Group B, it seems more circumstantial, like you're just not letting people in your world that hurt you anymore. Group A, you're ending on a place of really having to make a decision, but you need to make sure you're not making that decision out of a place of imbalance. Group B, I feel like you are really hitting a high note. You're really hitting a high note, and you're really just coming out of a victim place, a place of victimization. You're healing those old wounds, and in turn, because you're healing those old wounds, you have new opportunity coming in. But you might have to let somebody who's greedy and all about possession go. This person in your life it feels like you've done so much work on yourself that it's forcing you to let go of this kind of corrupt king who just doesn't fit the mold anymore, doesn't fit in any longer because of all the self-work you've done, Group B. Group A doesn't feel as intense. If this feels more like a past situation that's already come to a close, and you've had to let go of a lot of painful situations, and you're moving forward now. You're moving forward. You're no longer allowing for those corrupt individuals, kind of like Group B is now realizing, to be in your world any longer. If you have a suspected individual in your life currently, please know that this individual is done with their old ways of being, and that energy is no longer there. Doesn't mean you have to let them in your world. It just means, please know, if they're giving you apologies, they mean what they say. Much love, much emotion coming forward from this individual and you. I feel like you might be having a talk or something where you're working out a situation from the past where you had a big fallout with one another. Let's get some advice here for our Capricorns. It looks so, I mean, you guys are having, out of all the signs I've read, it looks like you guys are going through the most transformation so far. Interesting. Huge transformations. Huge transformations. All right. Spirit. You want me to use these cards? Yeah, okay. I want me to use these cards still. All right. What advice do we have for our Capricorns, June 2020? What advice do we have? Excuse me, my nose is very itchy. Okay. What advice do we have for our Capricorns, June 2020? What advice do we have, Spirit? I also hear, don't be too brave to reach out for help. Because you are going through a huge transformative place, both scenarios right now, so both groups of people, I hear don't be too afraid to reach out for others and say, hey, you know, I'm just kind of struggling. I could use some love or a talk or, you know, some form of communication. Because I think it's very common for a Capricorn to feel like that's a sign of weakness, to look like you're struggling or to just need some help, you know, or someone to just listen. Ten of Cups. You are the one that can bring in happiness within your life. This place of victimhood, this trauma that is so inflicted upon your sign, I've noticed within the years of working with Capricorn energy, is your sign has huge trauma related to the past for some reason, and you're healing that, and you're calling into your reality a happy, healthy family situation and dynamic. You have had too many years of unresolved issues. So it could go one or two ways. I mean, honestly, you can either choose to see that you are whole and complete and healed now, today, or you can continue this scenario of being that wounded warrior energy where there's just no way you can be healed and complete. Because some of you are going to choose not to have that energy, and then you're going to miss the marker for this happy energy, this complete, non-toxic, non-dysfunctional energy to move into your world. And if you choose that, you're missing the mark, because you are healed, you are whole, and you are complete. So for some of you, my advice is to please stop looking at yourself as a wounded individual. The time has come that you look at yourself as the warrior that you are, that people don't any longer get to, Capricorn people don't get to identify any longer as that wounded person, because you're not. The world has shifted in a way that is supporting you moving into your power. And we need you to do that. We need you to do that. We need you to call in that beautiful, supportive reality that is so around you, Capricorn. It's there, it's around you, and it's safe for you to step into that power place. Now, when I say power, I feel Capricorn energy has been in a very toxic energy for many, 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 many years, where it's more of a toxic power versus a whole, balanced, complete power. And I feel the universe is calling you into that balanced place where you can work from the heart and the mind, and they work together, and you're being called. You're being called to move forward and to no longer identify with that wounded place anymore. if you've been the Capricorn that's done the work. And I feel you have, Capricorn. I feel like you have done the work. You've looked at yourself. You've analyzed. You've made some decisions in your life, and it's time. It's time. You're being called forward to really step into your new shoes. Okay? All right, Capricorn, I love you, and thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a message below if this resonated with you. And I heard welcome to 2020, which is interesting. So welcome to 2020. Much love to you. Goodbye.